Friends, this class is for class 10th ICSE Physics. This is part 4. Part 4. 3 parts already I have sent. This is part 4. Previously I have discussed about movement of that couple. Couple means when couple also rotates the body, but it rotates the body in only one direction. When torques are acting, then it can rotate either in clockwise or anti-clockwise. But in couple, either clockwise or in anti-clockwise. Only one rotation is possible in couple, even though two or more than two forces act on it. So this already I have told you about couple. Now this is movement of couple. The couple is being measured. The physical quantity which measures the couple is called movement of couple. Now see, this is a rod, A and B are the end points, and two equal opposite parallel forces F. This is first F, this is second F. They are acting on A and B, and F is from F passes the axis of rotation. F is the point piviate or fulcrum. So this is first movement arm of this force, first F. AF is the first movement arm. First movement arm. So this is not movement arm, this is actually couple arm. It should be couple arm. Couple arm. So AF is the first movement arm of first force F, and FB is the second movement arm of second force F. And the total perpendicular distance between these two forces is called couple arm. So what is couple arm? Couple arm is the sum of two movements arm, either 2 or 3. Now we will calculate the turning effect of first force or individual torque of first force, which is called moment of first F applied at A. You will apply the same formula of torque, that is force multiplied by perpendicular distance from fulcrum to point of application of force. This is point of application of first force and this is fulcrum. So this is FA, the first movement arm. So the formula is of torque, any torque or movement of force is one force, magnitude of force multiplied by perpendicular distance between that force and fulcrum. Already I have told you about it. So first F, the moment of force at F into FA, let it be D1, so F into D1, and the tendency of this force is to rotate upward, means in clockwise. So this is clockwise. Similarly, the moment of second F acting at B, that is F into FB. FB is the second movement arm represented by D2, F into D2. Now you will calculate the rotational effect, the direction of rotation. This force will move downward. So again, same is the about F. This total rod will turn about F like this. Here also F. This will move up. So the total turning, this is upward and this is downward. The total turning is clockwise. Here also it is clockwise. So total movement of couple is F into D1. Add this one also F into D1. Because both are in clockwise, so they will be added. F into common, take F common, D1 plus D2, F into AB, F into D. And this is the total movement of couple of first F and the second F, which is called movement of couple. So you can make the definition here also. The movement of couple or the measurement of couple is equal to magnitude of one force multiplied by the total distance between application of two forces, which we call, that total distance is called couple arm. This one, this total is coming negative. SI unit you will make by this formula M into D F. The SI unit is 1 Newton, 1 meter, 1 Newton meter. CGS unit, same formula, 1 dyne into 1 centimeter, 1 dyne centimeter. So this is about the formula of moment of couple. The second Portion is B, which is equilibrium. Now you should think that when so many forces are acting on a rod or acting on a body, the body, and there can be clockwise and anti-clockwise, tops developed in an anti-clockwise rotation and clockwise rotation can be there. If these two rotations, clockwise and anti-clockwise, and by chance they become equal, the total anti-clockwise becomes equal to total clockwise, then the body will not rotate. The body will not rotate. In the same way that there is a toy car lying on the floor, and if you push it, the pushing force is also of 2 Newton, and then you push it from the forward direction. That is also, meaning you are applying opposite forces on the toy car in opposite direction, and both the forces are equal. The car will not move because both the forces will cancel each other. That is called equilibrium. So in general way, when number of forces or torques are acting on the body and there is no change in its state of rest or state of motion. State of motion means translatory motion, curvilinear motion, rotational motion. Then we say that there is equilibrium in the body. So two types of equilibrium are there. The first one is static equilibrium and the second one is dynamic or rotational equilibrium. Static equilibrium, under the action of so many forces or several torques are acting on rotating body, the bodies which are capable of rotating and the body which are capable of doing translatory motion. If you are applying several forces on it and several torques on a rotating body, even though the body remains at rest, neither it performs any translatory motion nor rotational motion. That is called static equilibrium. The body is static. Example is standing on the ground. Standing on the ground means action force. Action force is the weight mg acting vertically downward. The reaction is provided by the ground. Both cancels and you are in equilibrium. Similarly, in rotating also, suppose there is a blade which is rotating and one boy hold it down and apply pushes it upward. Another boy pushes it also upward. Both the boys are pushing the two blades of the rotating fan in upward direction. Then that blade will not rotate because that first boy who has applied the force in upward direction, that produces clockwise, and another boy which is standing in opposite direction, he is also pushing it in upward. The fulcrum is in the middle, it is in anti-clockwise. So both clockwise and anti-clockwise, that becomes equal. Anti-clockwise effect and clockwise effect becomes equal. No rotation, that is static equilibrium. Second is dynamic and rotational equilibrium. Under the action of so many forces or torques acting on the body remain in motion, remain moving in translatory, remain moving in curvilinear. If it is rotating, remain rotating in the same direction with the same angular speed. Then that body is called in dynamic or rotational equilibrium. यदि आप तमाम सारे फोर्स और टॉर्क किसी एक बॉडी पे लगा रहे हैं, ना ही वो बॉडी सीधी रेखा में जा रही है, ना ही वो बॉडी जिस सीधी रेखा में जा रही थी उसी वेलोसिटी से उसी सीधी रेखा में जा रही है फोर्स लगने के बाद, ना ही उसमें उसकी स्पीड बढ़ी ना घटी। इसी तरह से अगर कोई बॉडी रोटेट हो रही है, उसमें बहुत सारे टॉर्क तुमने लगा दिए, ना ही उसका रोटेशन बढ़ रहा है ना घट रहा है, तो वो डायनेमिक या रोटेशनल इक्विलिब्रियम कहलाएगा। एग्जांपल, यूनिफॉर्म सर्कुलर मोशन। जब मैंने बॉडी मूव्स ऑन ए सर्कमफ्रेंस ऑफ द सर्किल सच दैट इट कवर्स इक्वल डिस्टेंसेस इन इक्वल इंटरवल्स ऑफ टाइम, इक्वल आर्क्स कवर करती है सर्किल के, इक्वल टाइम लगता है, that means it is moving on the circular path with constant speed, that is called uniform circular motion. That is the example of rotational equilibrium. A droplet reaching to the earth, a drop, एक बूंद जो पृथ्वी पे गिर रही है तो उस पर ऊपर की तरफ फोर्स लग रहा है, वो कौन सा है? विस्कस फोर्स लग रहा है, और अब थ्रस्ट लग रहा है, ये दोनों फोर्स जो ऊपर लग रहे हैं वो किसके बराबर है, उसके वेट के बराबर, तो वो एक कांस्टेंट वेलोसिटी से नीचे गिरती चली जाएगी, मोशन रहेगा पर वो इक्विलिब्रियम में है, दैट इज कॉल्ड डायनामिक इक्विलिब्रियम. सो दीज आर द एग्जांपल्स. The last one, which is the C part, which is principle of movements. After reading all these things, we come on the conclusion that there should be one formula for the numericals, because there are several bodies on which we apply forces in different directions, and those forces can produce clockwise movement and anti-clockwise also. There should be relation between anti-clockwise and clockwise relation. So principle of movements indicates that relation between clockwise and anti-clockwise effects created by several forces which you apply on rotating body. So for this, according to this principle, this is also based on law of conservation. Law of conservation is applied here. According to the principle, the sum of ACW, remember this, ACW means A for anti-clockwise, A for anti, C for clock, and W for wise, anti-clockwise and for movement. So according to this principle, the sum of anti-clockwise movement is equal to the sum of clockwise movement. According to the law of conservation, the total anti-clockwise rotation effect is equal to total clockwise rotation effect. Or in other words, anti-clockwise movement total will be total positive and total clockwise will be negative. So when both are equal, naturally when you add them, plus 10 and minus 10, it will become 0. So that is the another form of this principle. According to this principle, the total sum of anti-clockwise and clockwise movement about the axis of rotation is 0. You can write this definition, also this definition. According to the principle of this principle, the sum of anti-clockwise movement is equal to the sum of clockwise movement about the axis of rotation, or this one. And in mathematical, you will write sum of ACWM is equal to sum of CWM. Here there is a rod AD, total rod AD, and F is the piviate, fulcrum, from where the axis of rotation passes. So this rod can move like this. On A, B, C, D, 4 forces are acting. F1, F2, F3, F4, all are downward. And remember, for every force, the distance is measured from fulcrum, and that distance from fulcrum to that force is called moment arm. Separate moment arms are there for separate forces. So F1, the moment arm is Fa, which is D1. For F2, the moment arm is Fb, which is D2. For F3, the moment arm is Fc, which is D3, represented by D3. For F4, the moment arm is Fd, which is represented by D4. Now I will calculate. Now see, this force F1 and F2. F1 has a tendency to move downward like this. So this is anti-clockwise. Similarly, F2, F3 and F4 are not acting. F2, it has also the tendency to move downward, to move this in anti-clockwise. So both are anti-clockwise. Similarly, if F1, F2 are absent, F3 are there, consider F3, F4. So F3 will also move downward about F. F is here, F will remain here, but this portion will move like this. So this is clockwise. F4 will also move like this. This is also clockwise. So both these are 2 clockwise and 2 anti-clockwise. It can be 3 anti-clockwise, 2 clockwise. The main thing is that the total sum of ACW should be equal to whether they are 2 or 3 or 2. So sum of anti-clockwise movement is F1 into D1, F1 into D1. Because the moment arm of F1 is A to F, D1. I have told you moment arm is measured from the fulcrum, F1 into D1. And for this plus F2 into D2. Because for F2 the moment arm is BF, D2. Similarly, clockwise come here, clockwise F3 and F4 are producing clockwise movement, but they are negative. So formula will remain same. For F3 the moment or torque will be individual torque F3 into D3, because for F3 the moment arm is D3. For F4 the moment arm is DF, means D4. So both are negative, minus F3 D3 and minus F4 D4. You add. So it will be F1 D1 according to this formula. Sum of anti-clockwise F1 D1 plus F2 D2 is equal to minus I have taken common F3 D3 plus F4 D4. This is total positive, means anti-clockwise. This is total negative, which is clockwise. This proves the principle of movements. Now thank you. Go through it again and again. And the last, now this is the completion of torques. Now the numericals are there, but after getting the idea about CD, next day, tomorrow, there will be lecture on center of gravity, which is a very important part. That is part 5. So be attentive, go through it, subscribe me and subscribe the channel. You will enjoy. Rest is okay. Thank you. Good evening.